Okay.
How early was this taken?
Okay, this one was when Evan was 3 days old.
So 3 days old.
And I painted him when he was 2 weeks old. So he was sitting in the bassinet in my studio. And that's when I was afraid because I had a newborn. I didn't know anything about babies.
I didn't either. I knew nothing about babies.
And so the first time mother
I remember that feeling.
is a gentle time.
Yes.
And I was amazed at how strong they are.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
And this is one, and that's his wading pool.
Oh, cool. Yeah, as you can see the hand underneath it, yeah.
And
this one is still my favorite.
I know.
I love the eyes.
When I think they're walking angels. When they learn to walk and talk.
See, I always loved two. I never had problems with 2s. 3s were crazy for me, but 2s I love.
5. Crazy.
5 is your crazy.
So 3 still precious, and I used a lot of blue paint that year.
Yeah.
And 4 was when I discovered that I had to paint him as who he was at every age, because he was getting more complex. They get their huge identity and their individuality.
Even the look in his eyes. This is so wide-eyed wonder yet, and this has a complexity to it that you don't see in the other's eyes. That's interesting.
Yeah. 5, he was contrary. He was so disobedient. I'd say go, he'd say come. I'd say sit, he'd run away. I'd say pose, he'd stick out his tongue. So
I love that. That is the one.
He was my contrary.
Defiant.
At 6, he was my nature boy. So he'd found this huge frog, and he's like, wow, look at this frog. 7 is his first day of school. Literally, he was terrified. You know that feeling of anxiousness?
Yeah.
Going into school.
And tell me, 7 is kind of...
Well, it's late for going into school, but we held him back at 3.
Good for you.
Because he needed more time to grow up, and his preschool teacher said the most beautiful thing. She said, you're giving him the gift of time.
You are. You never hear people say, we regret doing that, but you often hear people say, I wish we hadn't started him so soon. And it takes courage to do it, because there's so much pressure.
There's so much pressure. And he didn't like it in junior high, and I said, lie about your age. I'll back you up.
Oh, I like that.
And then once he got through junior high.
Oh, yeah, once you're on the
So here he is at 15 or 16.
14 or 15 or 16. Remember
yes, 15. And he is with his best friend, Whitney. And I was actually trying to take Whitney's picture, and Evan jumped in the photograph. So
it's interesting that one of his good friends is a girl.
Actually, Whitney's a guy.
Oh,
but he did look very girlish.
Well, and Whitney
in
is
a good way.
A girl today.
Yeah. But he was very sweet at that age. It was a beautiful.
Are they still friends?
Absolutely. They're like brothers. 17, he had the cocky thumbs up always. Hey, thumbs up for the project. Anyway, so I said I'd put it in the middle of his face because I was so sick of it. Like that. I think this is 18 or 19, 18 maybe, graduating high school.
And this was the one that kid took that picture instead of you.
Right, senior float trip, where they're mugging to the camera. They're the pirates of the
Caribbean
river. 19, he is in the Kansas City Chiefs football jacket and his reverse hat. And
that's the look.
At the football game.
And cross country.
20 is cross country, and he's running. Actually, this is the marathon, not the marathon, the race that he was in, and the leaves were flying, and I used a lot of green that year.
Very cool shot.
Okay, this is the last one. He's 25 here, and he manages an Abercrombie and Fitch. So I stuck him in the front of this store in LA, in Hollywood, and he had this thing about pink and blue this year because those were the fashion colors of Abercrombie, so I decided to make the portrait primarily pink and blue, which is atypical for a male portrait.
Yeah, but I love it. I love that.
And here he is at 24, and he was actually with a beard, unemployed.
I was going to say, what a contrast between this one. It's like it's not even the same person.
It isn't.
I mean, it's amazing to me.
It's dark and brooding, and he was very afraid. And I sat him down on the steps in Hollywood like I did in high school and grade school, because it's like at every juncture where you're launching out to the new avenue of life, you're apprehensive and uncertain. And so he was so worried about finding a job, marching into the professional world, and so forth. So
cow, that's
A little scary.
incredible